Hello guys, welcome to my channel and welcome to the series of AWS UG community. So as part of this episode 6, we have AWS User Group Sri Lanka, that is Colombo, with us. So today we have fantastic people who would be joining us for this specific episode and sharing us their journey about AWS User Group community that they are running. So I am actually very excited and I know you all too. So these are the guys who have actually recently also pulled AWS community of Sri Lanka. That is on the last year. It was a virtual event. Even after so many hardships that they are facing in their country, still they managed and they came virtually and organized it so that the people who are watching to get more information, AWS enthusiast, AWS community. So they motivated them by conducting that event virtually and keeping that consistency that community is always there in all the phases of the life. So let me go ahead and invite the AWS UG lead Manoj and Keshav as a co-organizer who would be coming forward and sharing their experiences with us. So let me call in Manoj. Yeah, hi Manoj. Hi Keshav.
Hey Dheeraj, how are you?
I'm good. Thank you
Hi
for
Dheeraj.
asking. How about you guys?
All good. Thanks for inviting us, man.
That's good. Oh, that's okay. So thank you for joining this UG series. So as part of this series, I actually connect with all the UG members, and we discuss about UG, your experience, that how you became part of AWS User Group community, how it is helping you to grow personally and professionally. So I guess then, as we have joined, so let's get started with the questions that I have. These are generic questions, so no need to be afraid of. So let's start with Manoj. So Manoj, as you are the UG lead of AWS User Group Colombo, that is from Sri Lanka. So why don't you start with the journey that how you ended up landed in AWS User Group community? What was your journey? How you started? Did you started as a volunteer, or you were the first person who started this community? So you did you started leading directly, or there was a phase from by which you became volunteer, co-organizer, then UG lead? So what was your journey? Over to you, Manoj.
Yeah, sure. Well, actually, it's an interesting story. So before I start this user group, AWS User Group Colombo in Sri Lanka, I actually didn't know there's this such user groups exist around the world. So it happened like this. I joined this company called 99X after my graduation. So I joined there as a software engineer. So the project that I joined, they were like going through a cloud migration. This is like back in 2015, like early 2015. So these like just in the previous year they introduced this AWS Lambda service and all that. So the team that I was like part of, they were like doing a full AWS Lambda migration, like full. They want to like create a completely cloud native application architecture. So that's where like I was introduced to AWS in the first place. So I just want to like learn about these services because back in the day our team was like very small. But then again we were able to do this migration in quite a short period of time because like the services like all are like serverless services and they are like we don't have to do lots of management and so on and so forth. So I was like really interested about it, and that I got that passion. Maybe I should learn more about it because I don't know anything about cloud computing at that time. So that's why like I dedicated some time, maybe 1 hour or 2 hours to learn every day about AWS. So yeah, that's how I got introduced to AWS in the first place back in 2015. So at that time I would like learn more. And so one thing I was practicing since my university time was like learn by teaching. So maybe I thought of maybe I should start teaching this. So that will help me to learn more about it because if I'm teaching something, then I should be like really be good at that subject. So that's where like maybe I learn it and then I teach it. So that's how I started my YouTube channel, and there I start keep posting videos about serverless and networking and all this and that, which I've got experience through the project. Yeah, and then like it suddenly I got lots of good feedback and lots of people commented about okay, these are really good content. So I started sharing everywhere, like in all social media and all that. So after a while, then I received this email from Ross that I'm selected as a AWS community hero. I was like really amazed. I didn't know about this hero program. There's something exists like so. So then only like I was introduced to this hero program. Yeah, then I was assigned to multiple groups. I think I was assigned to a WhatsApp group. I think most of the um, Asia, I think particularly in India, most user group leaders were in that group. And then at that time there was Rashmi. I think she was the user community manager, if I'm not mistaken, at that time. That's how like I got introduced. Like there are lots of user groups around there, and the people are organizing meetups and community days and all that. Then on the same year, I got a chance to go to reInvent, and then I met all these people in person. I was really inspired to like listen to their stories. They were organizing so many meetups, user community days, and all that. Then Rashmi asked, "Hey, why not like start a community user group in Sri Lanka?" I said, "Yeah, that's interesting. Maybe I should try that when I get back home." Then I started. I talked with my team, and they were like all supportive, and the company was also supportive because I found a like good venue in the company itself. So yeah, we just created a post. We didn't like do lots of organizing stuff and all that. We just want to like see what is the enthusiasm level of the people in Sri Lanka about cloud computing, particularly in AWS. So we created this meetup, and then we started it. So to be frank, like I was so amazed. There were 210 plus people were there in the initial meetup, the kickoff. I was like so amazed. There are lots of enthusiasm and the interest of people to learn AWS, and I thought maybe we should like continue it. Maybe we should like continue it, and that's where like we started user group Colombo, and I got a great team, and with their help, we like keeping. That's how we actually started, and so one thing we did actually is like we consistently um, we started doing the meetups every month. That was something we were doing consistently for several years actually, and yeah, that's how we start with the AWS User Group Colombo, Diraj.
Okay, so Rashmi is also from Sri Lanka.
No. She's from India. Yeah.
Okay, so how you collaborated with Lakshmi is from India and you are from Sri Lanka. So how you landed up creating a new user group community in Sri Lanka with the help of Rashmi?
Yeah, so Rashmi, like I mentioned, she added me to this WhatsApp group, and there were all the leaders, the user group leaders in India were part of it. And so I get to like chat with them, and also I met most of them during the reInvent in person, and also like all the other user group leaders around the world as well. So I mean, one thing like I was really amazed is that they were really excited about these community days. They were planning a lot, and like they were putting lots of thoughts about how are we going to arrange this year's community day. Yeah, then I had a casual chat. What do you guys do in usual meetups, and how do you like contribute to the community, and all that, the interactions, how do you keep up the interactions? And so that's how I got to know about it. And then we got the team, and after that we learned with our experience, because in Sri Lanka we saw like we have like different interests. Most of our communities mostly interested in about serverless and all that. So we customized our the different sessions to the interest of Sri Lankan people. Yeah.
So when you started this in Sri Lanka, so there were no cities in Sri Lanka. So this was the first user group that
Correct.
started in Sri Lanka, right?
Yeah,
And
correct.
that this is the only one till now, or it has
Yeah.
expanded to different cities also.
Yes, Sri Lanka compared to India is a small country. So we live in Colombo. So Colombo is like mostly the capital right now. It's Sri Lanka. Mostly lots of people, about particularly a lot of tech companies are in Colombo. So yeah, so we named the user group AWS User Group Colombo, but to the date, I think it's the only user group we have in Sri Lanka. Viraj.
Okay, that's an incredible and great journey. Thank you, Manoj, for sharing. So moving ahead with Keshav. So Keshav, please come forward and tell us what exactly your journey was and how you got acquainted with Manoj and other guys and started contributing to this AWS community. Over to you, Keshav.
Yeah, thanks, Diraj. So my journey has been, I would say, somewhat overlapping with Manoj because so I also started off in the same company as Manoj in 99X. So when I was an intern, I used to work very close with Manoj. He used to be sitting next to me and working all the time. So I always saw him getting excited about AWS and doing a lot of things AWS, right? So and he always encouraged me towards learning more because at that point I also didn't know anything about AWS, and so he kind of started off this interest in me to start contributing, to start learning more and stuff. So after my internship, when I came back as a fresh graduate, I joined Manoj's team, fortunately, and since then he so as part of the story where he was telling where he went to reinvent and he came back. So when he came back and when he was discussing with the team, so I was part of the team where he was like, okay. So when he came with that idea, it was really it was something really new and exciting, and I also was never part of something like that. So I was like, yeah, of course, let's do this, right? So that's how I got acquainted with this, and ever since then we've been doing so many meetups in Sri Lanka. And as he said, we from the beginning itself we didn't expect that much of a response, to be honest. So and as soon as we started getting a lot of people interested and a lot of people joining, we were also more motivated to do new things, and we kept going even regardless of this the COVID crisis or then the economic crisis. We kept going, and our audience also kept showing up. So it was really something to be part of this. So yeah, so far my journey has been great, and I never thought I'd be doing something like this, let's say 5 years ago, but then I'm so happy I am right now. And yeah, and Manoj has been a great mentor along the way to kind of pull me into this, and I'm so happy to be part of this community right now. So yeah, that's short and sweet. That's how I got in.
Okay, thank you for sharing that. And actually, I was before I pulled you guys in, I was talking about that how in this difficult time also you guys didn't stop. So you made sure that AWS User Group Community Day of Sri Lanka should happen, and you made that happen, even though it was virtual. But yes, it happened. So that's what I was talking with my users, saying that these people are unstoppable. So be whatever the situations is, they are very enthusiastic in terms of sharing knowledge, and that is how you guys have actually shown it to the entire world that if you want to share something, there is no stoppage for you. So it's all about passion. So that reflected passion from all you guys. So again, applause for that.
Thank you.
So coming ahead to Lakindu. So Lakindu, why don't you come forward and share with us your journey, how you joined this community of Colombo, and what exactly you're doing right now, how you're contributing in terms of this specific community.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, awesome. So I think when we first started out, so I think I was not there, unlike Keshav, I wasn't there with Manoj and his team from the start. So I joined like around last year, I joined, so mid 2022-ish, I joined the AWS community. So when I joined, it was a full happening kind of meetup. So because Manoj has already done most of the stuff. So, but I already knew. So when I started my journey at 99X, like Keshav. So from there, I got to know these three awesome people. So Rumesh, Manoj, and Ashan. So Manoj, I was once. It was one late evening session where he did a meetup for the user group, and he was talking about building a GraphQL API. So I was really interested on the way he did this meetup. So I was not at that point. I did not know what he was doing. So after that session, I just went and asked my lead who he is and what he's actually doing. And after he told me about what Manoj is doing and who he is, so that kind of gave me a sense like, yeah, that's something that would be fun to contribute to. So I was always looking forward to contributing with him, but I never got the chance during my stay at 99X. But then after I came back as a fresh graduate to this other company, Enlia, I got in touch with Manoj again, and from there I got through his video YouTube channel, Enlia Academy. So from that, basically what happened was the journey there was also whenever we had some feature for work, I would just go through one of his videos and then just refer that and just see what kind of stuff he's teaching over there. So after a while, I just texted him and was like, I want to contribute to ℂ𝕠 Academy. So we talked and we did a few videos. And after that, I got through to this community builders program. So Manoj and Ashan and Ramesh, all three of them pushed me to apply to this program, and I got in. And from there, I came into the AWS community group. And from there, I did my first meetup session also that exact same month, I think, or a month before that, I think. I'm not too sure. I think it was maybe a month before the application submission. So from that, I got through to the team. So from my first meetup, I got to know Keshav and the rest. But after I got into the community, I got, that was, I think, last August-ish. From there, I started to contribute a lot, and I tried to help out whenever I could. So we did the community day, and which was a lot of hard work. That was just a few of us pulling off a really big event. So I think that's, if we talk about the contributions, I think that would be my biggest one. But yeah, so I think Manoj is like setting the inspiration to like everyone who's like, if this is something you want to do. So he's like, yeah, you should be who he is. So the stuff that he does is quite inspirational. So yeah, so that's if you want to say my journey. So it's just based on looking at those three people. So it's just based on these three people that I am where I am right now. So yeah.
So all credit goes to Manoj, right?
Yeah. All credit goes to those three. Yeah.
By the way, Dheeraj, like all of these guys are community builders, so they have been like contributing a lot to the community, and yeah, I mean it's really inspiring to see, for me to like see the contribution that they are doing, and that motivates me to like keep doing what I'm doing right now. So yeah, big applause to them actually.
So one announcement to you guys. So what that announcement would be. So my journey also started from being AWS community builder. So I'm still a community builder, and after that I joined a user group of Pune. So the opportunity that I got to go into the AWS Summit, it was because of AWS Community Builder program only. So I met Manoj over there. So Manoj, I interacted for the first time face to face in that event when we were in Bangkok. So I guess when somebody says community builder, I am not able to control my excitement, and I have to speak something about it, right? Something good, because I have gained so much out of it. So after community builder program only, I started my blogging website, my YouTube channel. Then I entered into AWS User Group Pune. Then I am leading a community in my company now. So a lot of things. So all credit goes to community builder program only. So yes, that is a fantastic program, and you are in very safe hands if you are following the community builder program, I would say. So the way they have designed, actually it helps you, to grow yourself in community. So I second that. Lakindu, that community builder is a very good program. So moving forward to Lahiru, I guess. So come forward and share with us that your experience about AWS User Group community, how you joined. So I guess it would be the same way, I guess. So the two stories were same, that we met Manoj as part of the academy, then we joined it. So what's your story?
Okay, so I think I joined at about the same time, or maybe a month or so after Lakindu. So my story is a bit different. Last year, like way before last year, I didn't really explore about cloud or anything like that. So I saw my brother, like Lakindu, do a lot of cloud stuff, and then I heard that he heard all these cloud and all these new technologies from the three people that he just spoke about, Ashan, Manoj, and Rumesh, right? So from there, I got inspired to join the AWS Community Builders program, and then the AWS User Group Colombo. So from there, I met Manoj, Keshav, and all the rest of the other guys that are there. So it has been a lovely journey so far. Got to do my first meetup. Thanks to Manoj. Manoj guided me in how it should be, what topics to cover, how it should look like, what to expect. And then recently we were part of the AWS Community Day. So we had a tough pull, a bunch of guys organizing a tough event. And to add on to that, I think Manoj really pushed us to actually do a couple of exciting sessions within the community as well. So that was a very different atmosphere, very different exposure and experience. So like what Lakindu said, all credit goes to Manoj, and because I think he's the heart of this entire community, and he's been keeping this alive for quite some time. We're fresh into the waters, but he has been swimming in these waters for a long time now.
So I guess everywhere is Manoj, right? So
By the
Manoj,
way, I should really give a shout out to our the other two initial members. They were Rumesh and Ashan. Like those guys were there like at the beginning, and they were really helped me to start this community, and they were helping in every way, like organizing, even speaking, like every time. So I should give a huge shout out to Ashan and Rumesh here. Yeah.
So now let's start with the interesting questions. So being a UG member, I have seen that question coming from people, or you can say attendees who join the meetup. So let's start with the first interesting question after COVID, which comes to everyone's mind. So what you prefer? You want what is the what audience like? I mean to say the attendees, the enthusiasts. They want in-person event, or they like to attend virtual events. So what is your experience?
Yeah. To be honest, like at the beginning, like when we were having these physical meetups, for the initial meetups, like lots of people are joining physically, and the one there was a bit of a challenge because the place that we were like having the meetups and all that, there were issues with the parking and all this and that. So because of that, they had to face bit of challenges to like come in person. But when the COVID hits and then we went all virtual, so then like it was like very straightforward for them to join because we were having these live events, and it's just a click of a button, then they are in the event, right? And they don't have to worry about all the transportation or the parking and all the hassle, right? And in Colombo, like it's very hard to find places with good parking spaces and all that. So we are like this year actually trying to find out a proper place with good parking. That has been a very difficult for the members who are joining. Yeah, so with my experience, I think during the COVID time, it was like lots of people found it very convenient to join these meetups. And on the other hand, we had the other crisis, like the fuel crisis and all this and that. So it would be quite straightforward then to like just pull up their laptop and then go online and then join. So yeah, so I think so far I prefer virtual because still there are a little bit of a challenges in the country. But however, we are planning to start our first physical meetup. So I was just discussing with the guys as well to find a proper place where accessibility is there, and so people can conveniently come. So yeah, so that's what I've been thinking particularly. So we are keep discussing it. So we just want to get the members ideas as well. So so we are getting their feedback, and yeah, hopefully this year, I think in a couple of months time, we are planning to have a physical meetup and see how it goes. So yeah, so that's where we are right now, Deon.
Okay, thank you for answering that question. So now, as people, you have started doing regular meetups, so it is mostly virtual. Now, people who wants to join AWS User Group of Colombo, or someone wants to volunteer. So for them, what is the way? So suppose if I am in Colombo, I am interested, I am AWS enthusiast, and I want to be a part of you guys. So how I can become a part of your team where I can
Yeah.
contribute?
So we are very active on Facebook. So Facebook has been our main platform of communication. So whenever something is going on, if there's a event or a quiz or whatever that we are planning through AWS User Group Colombo, it could be AWS community, everything. All the updates are through this Facebook page that we have right now. So I think Keshav can share the link as well in this. So Dheeraj, you can just put it in the chat maybe. So that's where our main communication channel, Dheeraj. In addition to that, we use meetup.com. So we have this meetup page. So we have about, I think, 2,000 plus members in the meetup group. So we are also sharing all the event related details in that meetup page as well. And we had a WhatsApp group, but I think there's this limitation in WhatsApp. So it's not like very active right now, but it's mostly through Facebook. And we share all the details through LinkedIn and other social media as well, or Twitter, LinkedIn. But the main platform is Facebook. So if you join our Facebook page, you'll get to know about all the details about everything that we are planning. I think you're on mute, Dheeraj. Yeah.
Sorry about that. So guys, actually I have displayed to all of you that the meetup group, the LinkedIn page, and the Twitter page. So these are the active platforms that these guys are constantly looking and answering the queries if somebody is having any. And apart from that, as Manoj said, that they also have a very active Facebook page. So let me share with you guys the Facebook page also. Okay, so we go. So let me bring up this Facebook page also. So guys, right now I am just displaying it on the screen, but yes, it is there in the chat. So whenever you want, you can refer it. Apart from that, if you go in the YouTube video description, over there, I have actually mentioned all of their handles. That is the Meetup, Twitter, LinkedIn, and I would also be adding the Facebook page. Thank you. Thank you, Manoj, for clarifying that. So people who are interested to join, please go ahead, and the best place for you to interact with them would be Facebook, as they are very active on Facebook. So that is how you can go ahead and join the AWS community of Colombo and make it a big community for the next event. So the more the merrier, we would say, because the more volunteers and more contribution we have, the more big event we can do and serve a lot of people in terms of sharing knowledge. So Manoj, one question. So
Yeah.
right now you are the UG lead. Okay. So as you have been running this community from a long time, so I have seen being part of user group, every time a UG lead cannot be available. Okay. So how you are maintaining that equilibrium of your personal and professional, personal and community life? Because if I have to plan for March, so my planning starts in Feb, right? What I have to do, what not, I have to get speakers, I have to arrange everything. And if suddenly some work comes up, how you handle this kind of situation? I'm sure you might have definitely faced this kind of situation in your journey. So what's your take on this? How taking care of that?
I think it's all about teamwork, Dheeraj, because nothing can like exist for a long time without a proper team and the sharing the same values and all that, right? So right now, I'm really happy to say all these members, Keshav, Lakindu, Lahiru, and also we don't have two other members join today, unfortunately, Trehana and Chamira. So these guys are the like core pillars of AWS User Group Colombo. So to be honest, like I actually don't have to worry too much because these guys are like doing most of the work. So maybe we just have a discussion and see, all right, these are the plans for this year and this month and next 3 months. And yeah, then again, like we gather as a team. And if something, I mean, obviously things happen and life happens. So if something goes wrong, I mean, something I can't like make it to a session and so on. Someone just volunteer it, like Keshav, like lead that particular meeting, or Lakindu, Lahiru, or anyone like. So we actually, I didn't actually personally, I faced any like having this user group as a something that I had to like did some other work and then have to contribute to this, because there's always someone to like take that lead and then then contribute. So I have an amazing team. So I think that's the best part of our user group. Yeah.
Okay. So now this question is to all of you. So guys, when you are preparing for a user group meetup, maybe it's virtual or it's physical. So in that, now you know your audience, right? So as you're running it from a long time, so what is the ratio? What is the student ratio? What is the professional ratios? And based on that ratio, how you bring in that type of tech talk which would actually serve those people also who are on level 100, those also who are on level 200, and those also who are on 300. So because if you're always going to give 100, then you might leave other people who are interested in 200 and 300, they might leave. So how you understand that, what is the analysis based on which you arrange your talks?
So I'll give a couple of some ideas on that. So it's basically when we look at all the members who join the team to meetups and user group community days throughout this time, most of them are beginners. Like I would say about 60 to 70% of the audience, they are beginners. And then we have people who are working on project AWS related technologies in their daytime projects and all that. So we have about then 20% of the people who are working with AWS. And then we have about 5 to 10% people like who are really good at AWS expertise, expert level experience and all that. So when you're planning the events, basically we most target for the beginners. But whenever we are inviting a speakers, what we usually say is like most of our guys are beginner level. So start with the basics. So just don't jump right into the tech savvy stuff. Just start with the beginning, as a beginner, and then but we encourage them to just go dive in as well. At least like show the reference point that the others can go and learn about more about that particular subject that they are learning. And also we are inviting speakers who are who are working on really cutting edge technologies as well. For example, I think we have invited a set of speakers coming up in, I think, next month or so. They are building a serverless caching solution. I mean, in serverless, there's two main shortages right now: serverless cache and a proper serverless searching service. So likewise, something like really cutting edge and really important for the people who are currently practicing AWS. If we see someone is doing a really amazing job, we go ahead and invite them. So that's a really good session, and it goes to all the layers. Like it could be beginners, it could be intermediate, it could be advanced people. They all learn something about it. So when you are picking topics, we tend to do that. We look at the all the speakers and the companies that are doing really good contribution to AWS and the serverless the products that they are building, and we'll invite them. So that's quite important for the community. Like I mentioned, like most of the people in Sri Lanka, lots of startups are there. So they use serverless technologies quite a bit. So we focus more on serverless related technologies. But not forgetting the other areas. We have like Lahiru, who's expert in security and his company, and also DevOps. So we focus on these areas, but having more focus on serverless aspects as well, Dheeraj. Yeah.
Okay, thank you for answering that question, because that is again one of the very niche or that kind of gray area where actually user group have to think about, and everyone does. We just wanted to know your point of view, that how exactly you guys gauge that, what kind of different sessions we need to come up with, which is going to add value to the people who are joining it.
I think I could
So,
add a small thing to that also, Dheeraj. So once, like when we were doing, so we get a lot of feedback from the people who join the sessions as well. So once some audience actually wanted to learn about live streaming, cost-effective live streaming, and there were some questions coming through. So we kind of found like a expert on that field, and we did a session in the next following meetup, and we got a lot of engagement in that as well. So we try to get the audience feedback as much as we can as well, and keep that in mind, because sometimes we see sometimes they kind of want workshops as well, so they can also follow along. But as Manoj said, that is like you need to start off with the basics anyway. So we try to cover as much as we can, but it's finding that balance. We discuss it every time and do based on the audience, based on how the climate is in Sri Lanka and stuff. So yeah.
So today morning, actually, I was having a live session with Mustafa. He is academic student advocate in AWS. So I heard of a very fantastic program that is AWS Cloud Club. So which is a student-led program where it works in the same manner like user groups. So it would be user groups for students, which would run at the college level, where there would be one cloud captain from each college, and the way we are handling it, that is one UG lead and another co-organizers. The same way that program is also going to work. So have you guys heard about that program, or any information in regards to that? It was actually recently released on 6th of February.
Yeah, I've heard about it, but I didn't know about like much detail about it, Dheeraj. Yeah.
Because why I'm asking is because what I understood is many a times there are more student crowd in user group in UGs. So catering them on 100 level always becomes a challenge for the UG team, right? Because suppose if anytime you want to take a session on control tower or landing zone, so these people they don't understand what exactly is control tower and landing zone. And but if you go from the company side, it is one of the very basic requirement in all of the implementation that is being used, right? So that is one example. So why I asked that, because this program recently AWS Cloud Club got released for 10 countries I saw, but it is not for Sri Lanka. But over there also they have actually given a form where if there are more student crowd who would like to get this program open at their countries, so they are encouraging that too. So I think if you have more student crowd, then you can encourage them to join that program if possible.
Yeah. I think that's interesting. Thanks for sharing with us, Dheeraj. We have to see, I think, if they are like executing it in Sri Lanka as well. And also, one other thing I would usually suggest to most of the students in universities and all that, when they come up with a question, something related to AWS, what I would recommend them is go ahead and try out this learning paths, because I think in AWS it's like really great because they have like set up different learning path. If you want to learn about serverless, there's a serverless learning path, security learning path, and so on and so forth. Database learning paths are there, and these are like free for the most part. So you just have like have sign up for a AWS account, and then you can just sign up for these courses, and these are like really content heavy. I mean, it start with like a very basic, and it goes in depth. So recently I was like doing this serverless sort of learning path as well, and I recommended my team as well. The contents are really good. I think they start with the very basic, and it will dive deep. So that's something again I recommend for most of the beginners, because I mean, of course, we can ask them to do the certification, like the cloud practitioner are there, but still again they have to pay for the exam and all this and that. But some people like they are unable to pay for this certification. But for them, I think this is a really good opportunity to learn about AWS, and also they can get the badges as well. So they are like offering the badge at the end of there's a quiz and all that. There's a exam, and once you pass it, then you get a badge, and you can like share it in your LinkedIn, and that's a good recognition for them as well, I believe. So yeah, that's another thing I suggest for most of the beginners. Just go down in the track that you are interested in, and there are learning paths in AWS. Just it's for free, basically.
So are you talking about AWS Skill Builder, which is gamified learning?
Not the skill builder. Yeah. So this learning path that they have introduced. I'll share the link as well.
Okay. Because what I understood is, this program is actually very good. So, but I in morning only I saw, I was searching for the name which countries are not there. So as I was going to interact with you guys, so I understood that Sri Lanka is not over there. So I thought of sharing with you guys. So if there are more student crowd and if they are interested to have this program, so there is one interest form that they have provided. I am putting that into the chat. So if you have more student crowd and they want that to run in their specific area, so I guess you can share with the audience. That might be helpful for them, specifically students.
Yeah, I'll. There's this.
See, there is one more program. Are you talking about AWS Educate?
Not AWS Educate. Actually, AWS Educate, that's something I forgot to mention. They are also like, it's really good. And the skill builder program, it's fantastic.
Yeah, skill builder, gamified learning.
Correct. Yes. So this is the
Okay.
link I just shared with you in the DM.
Yes.
There, I think if you scroll down in that page a little bit, when you
Mm-hmm.
there, you will see the learn by role. So they are like, you get to learn if you're interested in serverless and all that. There's this serverless training path as well. That's quite interesting.
So let me share that with the audience so that they can, make best use out of it if they're interested in learning. So guys, this is a very path-based program which Manoj has recommended. So people who are interested to start their journey based on a specific path. So because till the time you complete your graduation, you know whether you are going to be a DevOps engineer, whether you are going to be admin, or whether you are going to be something else. So everyone is not made to become a solution architect, or everyone is not going to be a developer. So you understand your niche based on the studies that you have. So I think by end of your graduation or your engineering, definitely we come to know that where we are going to land up, and based on that we can pick our path with the link that Manoj has shared, where based on your expertise we can pick any one of them. Okay, thank you for that. So Manoj, as many of the people that you were talking about has not joined over here, so is there any volunteer who has actually volunteered for a long time in your previous events, and you want to give a shout out to them? Because the model of this specific talk is to have UG lead, co-organizers, and volunteers too, because everyone should feel special. Because with all these three layers, then comes a successful event, as per my understanding. So, would you like to have a shout out for some volunteers?
Yes, of course. I think, like I already give a shout out, it's two members I cannot forget is Ashan and Rumesh. Now, those are the first two members I started this user group with. And then, of course, the guys who's here right now, the Keshav, Lakindu, Lahiru, Trehana, Chamira, and all the volunteers and the co-organizers of the user group as well. And not forgetting our initial speaker, which is Danilo from AWS. He was like the initial first speaker, he was the initial speaker of our very first meetup, as well as the first ever speaker, the keynote speaker at our very first AWS Community Day as well. So far we had 3 community days, and in the first one he was the keynote speaker. So I have like to give a big shout out to him. Like whenever we wanted something, like we wanted him to speak in any event, he's like always available. And also everybody, like all the serverless heroes and all the other category heroes who like helped us, sharing their knowledge through our community program. I mean, I'm really grateful for them. I'm really thankful for all of their contribution, and that they have been like amazing. And the community in Sri Lanka, we learned a lot. And like you mentioned, learning is, I feel like it's not only for the who were just starting off, right? Because particularly in this cloud industry, like the major cloud providers like AWS, they're coming up with so many innovation. Like if you go to reInvent, so how many new things are like introducing? For example, like that when Lambda comes, like whoever like using EC2 instance, and they were just thinking, all right, should we like stick with these 2 instances? Are there any proper use case, or should we like migrate to Lambda? So likewise, sometimes it disrupts the other technology. So you have to be like very up to date with what's happening, what are the new things and all that. So it's all about learning, like, and also sharing that learning with the community. So for that, I'm really thankful for all the people who spoke in all the meetups that we had so far. They have been amazing, and we had so many numerous Sri Lankan speakers as well. I should give my thanks to all of them. So I can't like, there are so many, I can't like point out in names. But yeah, I'm really thankful for all the speakers who contribute to through our meetup group. Yeah.
Anyone else would like to share something with the audience, because right now I think most of your audience might be looking at you from Colombo who might be interested to join your group. So any message you would like to pass to your audience or the people, the AWS enthusiasts, calling them out to join the AWS User Group community of Colombo?
Yeah, I think I'll again tell a few things about it, because the meetups, regardless they are virtual or physical meetup, I think this is a great opportunity to discuss. Even if they have any burning issues, we always have some time to discuss any matters as well. So if you join the meetups, there are like experts in all the fields. It could be DevOps, security, networking, serverless, and whatever the field, we have guys like who have experience with that. So if you have any burning issues, just join the meetup and ask the question, and we have very welcoming members in the team. So if there's anything, they will be like willing to help. And so yeah, I think that's one thing. And the other thing is the networking, right? Because I got to know about lots of these amazing people through the community day, and also when we visit, like let's say reInvent and all that, we got to meet lots of people. But at home, the best place to like meet people is through this meetup, right? So I think we are inviting so many people who are experts in different areas, so you can always build the network that you're always looking for. And yeah, so join the meetup, and I think that's a great platform for that, I think.
Thank you. So Manoj, as you have been speaking about reInvent, so I thought of asking the question. So when is the reInvent recap that you are planning for Colombo?
So it's happening in few weeks' time. So we are going to announce the date real soon. Yeah, so we already got the speakers ready, and so they are all good. So we are about to now announce the event. Probably, yeah. Lakindu?
Probably at the end of this month, right? I think that was the plan, right? Probably at the end of this month is when we are gonna plan the recap. Yeah.
Yeah.
End of this month, end of Feb?
Yeah.
This month.
Yeah, end of Feb. Yeah.
Okay. So you guys are doing it for 2-3 hours, or because the kind of content that has to be covered is massive.
Yeah.
Because we did that in 2 parts, 4 hours. So how you guys are planning? As you're doing it virtual, are you going to cover it in 3 hours, or you are going to have an elongated one where you're going to cover each and everything based on the categories that have been defined, like builder experience, serverless, DevOps, and all of them?
Yeah, so we picked several categories, Dheeraj. I mean, obviously, we can't cover everything that was announced during the reInvent. So we picked several categories like serverless, DevOps, security, like you mentioned, and database. So we are like sharing that the new updates from there. And so we are also planning to have maybe a follow-up one as well that will cover networking and other areas as well, Dheeraj. So yes, we are planning to do it in 2 folds. So serverless, database at the beginning, and then the other one. Yeah.
That's great news. Great news. Because I guess most of the UGs are doing it, so I thought you might
Yeah.
have also have planned. So I guess I asked this question before you got it announced. But yes, that is also this is also
Yeah,
a
I
good
mean
platform to announce it.
no worries. Anyway, we'll be announcing it like next week or so. So thanks for the shout out as well, Dheeraj.
Best of luck. Best of luck for that.
Thank you very much, Dheeraj.
So yeah. So guys, thank you so much for joining this UG community talk show, where we actually speak about UG communities, our experiences, and we share sources with people based on which they can, just go ahead and join the UG groups for that specific ones. So I would like to share my gratitude and applause for all of you for the all hard work that you have been doing and you are doing right now. You are the real heroes. Keep up the good work, and we will meet soon in some or the other meetup. So let's stay tuned to meet each other. So see you soon, guys.
Yeah, thank you, Dheeraj, again for inviting all of us. I mean, it has been really amazing. And what you are doing is like, I think it's very important. Just keep up the awesome work. I have I've seen all the other videos, the other episode that you have done with other user group. this is like what we need, right? We need to learn from each other. So
Yes.
I mean, just before this session start, we were just having a casual chat. So what we said is like Dheeraj also said, we will be again meeting in person in the next APAC summit or reInvent or somewhere. But during that time, we are mostly disconnected, right? So these are the
Yes.
platforms that we keep interacting, and so it's really good. But what you are doing, just keep up the awesome work, Dheeraj. Yeah, thanks what you're doing for the community.
Thank you, Manoj, and thank you guys for joining and giving your time in the weekends. That is your personal apps. Really appreciate that.
Happy to join,
Okay.
Dheeraj. Thank you for the invite.
Happy to
Thank
join.
you guys. Have a
Always a pleasure.
Have a
Have a
great
Have a
day.
great
All the
day.
best.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Great day, guys. Bye, guys.
Thank you. Take care.